Stationeers is certainly different from any and all games you have ever seen before, and if you have not yet played it for like 50 hours at least, then you have no clue what you're talking about. This game is complex, this game is deep, and I hate that I have to use the word game all the time. Maybe there are better words for this. This experience, this adventure, this gate through which all of gaming will enter a better world, like when we had Half-Life 2 and suddenly complex physics, stacking objects on each other and such, became normal, and we had that in most games since. In this way, I believe that we will have atmospherics in other games that are completely unrelated to the concept. When in a shooter you shoot out a window, the atmosphere escapes, but you have a helmet on, you have some protection, and the enemies do not, so they lie choking on the floor. You can just run past them, or maybe even loot them. But if you loot them for too long, then they will suffocate. Maybe you should let in the air, the gas back in, and run out the room, because that helps your humane score, or whatever. I don't know, there are so many possibilities. Or maybe you can smell some guard's cigarette down the corridor. I mean, the game The Hunter already has this kind of thing with wind direction and smell and such. See, we're not yet done. We haven't seen yet all games that can be. And when you have watched this, when you have understood what this game is, then you will agree, no, we have not. So what is Stationeers? People usually characterize it as a sandbox, which it is not. It is a simulation. You could say that Half-Life 2 is also a simulation, in that it simulates you being hunted by opponents against whom you have to defend yourself with weapons which in turn are simulated in the form that they need ammunition, and you are simulated in the way that you need health kits. See, that's not a deep simulation, but that's what it is, and that drives the game loop, and then there's the underlying narrative. This game doesn't have an underlying narrative yet. Missions and goals and such will still come. This is an early access game, and it is already much better than most games that have ever existed. I promise you that. This game's simulation is so complex that constantly new narratives or needs or side missions will emerge. Like they joke about Fallout, where you're always sidetracked by new stuff. In this game, that's kinda also this way, but it's not missions, it is needs. You need to breathe, you need food, you need water, and you need to stay at a certain temperature range. To make that happen, you need a station. This station has also needs: electricity, pumps, pipes, manufacturing devices, maybe some sensors, alerts. You can even put up logic chips with which you can compare values and then make decisions based upon that. But you can go further and place microchips with actual programming on them. Programs that you can write yourself with an in-game editor, an assembly language. Now this sounds all very complex, very complicated, and it is, but how deeply you go into this is your choice. Now, I've looked for games like this often, again and again. I have been playing this for half a year, over 1100 hours for real in-game, and I have not found a game since that even gets close to this. Oxygen not included? No, definitely not. Astroneer, even further out, even though you have deformable landscape and also constantly need something to breathe. In this game, something to breathe means your oxygen has to have the right temperature. And your spacesuit has to have filters so that the CO2 that you breathe out can be removed from your spacesuit into your waste canister, which gets fuller by that act. And if you're if you're in a very cold environment, then the oxygen from your oxygen tank will be used also to warm your suit somewhat, or to cool your suit down, so more oxygen will be in your waste canister than usual. I mean, usually there should be none. There should only be waste in there. But you can later just plop your waste canister in a canister holder, which you can then pump empty through a pipe system into a filtration system into tanks that you can set up if you so wish, or you can just go into your station and open the waste canister, and it will just equalize its pressure with the station atmosphere. In other words, it will mostly empty itself, and this will be good for your plants because they also breathe. They breathe CO2 and they breathe out oxygen. Well, some of them breathe in oxygen and breathe out CO2, and you can look all that up in your handy Stationpedia, where everything is explained. But, well, it's not an explanation as to how to play the game. It's more like a reference. And it has to be forgiven that the explanations in here, if they are handwritten, like this one up here, are often outdated because humans wrote them. While values like this here, when you mine iron ore yourself and you put it in a centrifuge or you put it in a furnace, then it will excrete some gas, and you can see what gas that is. These kind of values, they come directly from the game. They're filled in by what the game also uses. So these values are true and reliable. But human-made descriptions, like up here, they are not up to date. Rocketworks is bleeding money into this game constantly. They have put up so much cash for this game and keep paying into it. The revenue is low, but they want to keep at it. They finance this with other projects and with the initial burst of purchases and such. Well, they cannot keep up the description changes with the pace that the game has, the evolution of the game, so they focus their development time on the important stuff. You have to forgive that. You will be confronted with that on many fronts, but the game itself is remarkably bug-free. You will see how, as complex as it is, if you compare the amount of features, of simulation, of things that are constantly under scrutiny by the experience that you have, by the values that you can read with your sensors, if you compare that with other games, which are so simple in comparison really, then you will realize this game is the least buggy game of all. So what is this game? It is a simulation of reality. People say it's a sandbox, but that's not a good description. The simulation of reality will take you places. It will be the narrative, and let's let the narrative take us someplace. So, new world. Now we have some planets to choose from. Venus, super hot, hardest planet so far. Vulcan, also very hot, but relatively easy in comparison to Venus. Though all beginners should not apply. It's just too hard. You need to know your stationeering too well, because in this game you level up, yes, as your avatar, because you get a better spacesuit and a larger canister, and your machinery gets better and your station gets better. That is how you level up, but you yourself, the player, also levels up. So Mimas and Asteroid Belt and Moon, they don't have atmospheres, so there are no storms here. The celestial bodies with atmosphere have storms. As realistic or unrealistic as that may be, I mean, it's still a game, okay? But I mean, look at this. Here you see the energy provided by the light, and on Mimas that's much less. You can see here on Europa the pressure of the air. And in the game, then you pull out your tablet and then you see the gas mixture of the air. It's okay. Without further ado, let's get into it. I will try to make this video a bit like as if it were a teaching video, while at the same time turning into some kind of a review. I don't know if I can pull that off. It's just an attempt. Since I have done so many teaching videos already on Moon and Mars, I want to do one on Europa this time. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, select world. Now we have to choose the difficulty. We can play creative, but that's not gameplay, that's just us toying around with the machinery and learning. I would recommend not doing that. I have 1100 hours in-game, I have never played creative, and I recommend that you also don't, because it takes away from the depth, it chisels away your belief. You want to believe the simulation. Like when you read a story, you want to believe the story. You don't want to look at what the author is thinking. In this way, you don't want to play creative. Play easy, normal, or stationeer. This is the hardest difficulty. You can see the differences here on the right. In easy, you can even eat and drink with your helmet closed. These other difficulties down here I created myself because you can easily mod the game. But let's stick with easy now on Europa, because I myself struggle with Europa on Stationeer difficulty. I mean, I routinely succeed, but I really have to step on the gas. But I need to take my time to talk to you now, so let's play easy. Well, start game. And this is how the game always starts. You stand on the surface of the celestial body with your flashlight on, which you should turn off right away, for it's a waste of your valuable battery, and with L. And you stand next to your lander. Oh, we have water here this time. They changed the landing conditions. Oh, that's nice to see. So we'll even have a different playthrough. It's such a bonus to be able to play this during early access. Other early access games, you will feel like something's lacking. It's too buggy maybe. But in this game, you already have thousands of hours of experience by the simulation and sandbox alone. There is not even a goal yet. The game isn't even half finished. And I get to play a new game every month, in a way. Dude, join the boat, man. Come in, find joy. So you see my crosshair, and I click with the left mouse button so I can open these boxes. You can see there's some stuff that I brought with me. And you can walk around with WASD, with space you can jump. And you can even press J for jetpack and fly around. There's not much to see, it's the same basically everywhere. Over the course of this year, they will change the landscape terrain system completely, and then probably the rovers will also make a comeback. Let's turn that on. I don't want to break my spacesuit. So, I was talking about the spacesuit. Let's look at this then. Here we have the target pressure internal that I have set. I can define that. And the suit then will adapt. It has its own machinery, its own simulation, which is currently, as we speak, well, maybe not today, it's Saturday, being improved, adapted. The developers are at it, making the suits more complex, better simulated even than they already are. Then we have the target temperature, which is also achieved here. That costs battery, and life support is already at 95%. Maybe I should do something instead of talking so much, because I might die from speech. You know, like people today believe that you do so easily. He died from speech. You're all stupid, okay? So, yeah, fractal terrorism. Dude, okay, one moment set aside for this. Of course, everybody is influencing the world at all times, very slightly, in some way. Yeah, it's good that you're finally waking up to this, but do so in a balanced fashion and apply that concept to everybody and in every regard, okay? Then this works, otherwise it's just more chaos. So, jetpack, you can see here the thrust, it's going down, because I'm using that up. We can see it's minus 140 degrees, so let's go to the helmet. And how am I getting this mouse pointer, by the way, with which I can also drag and drop stuff in the world? How do I get that? By pressing Alt, the Alt key, left of the spacebar, then you get the mouse pointer. So let's open the helmet. At very low pressure and very low temperatures. I cannot, it's locked. It's just a safety feature. Otherwise, it's not really important.
Temperature critical.
Yeah.
Temperature low.
Not good. I probably just damaged my lungs because, yeah, that's the thing. And you don't get to see that immediately, only when it's too hard. But there's a pill that you can swallow that heals you. Later there will be surgery, because this game is actually inspired by Space Station 13, which is rather complex in such regards. And yeah, but it's going its own path, and that's good, because Stationeers is, wow, to me it's the best game ever, by a long shot. Okay, I'm in the process of dying, technically. and that needs to stop. So I just opened all my things here. Let's put the helmet away. Here we have something to... here we have something to eat, something to drink. But if I do that here, obviously I will damage... Oh, god damn it. Oh, and Soma FM. If I do that here, I will damage my lungs. I shouldn't do that also. We should try to keep it real. You wouldn't do that here, only in an intense emergency. So, how do I get to all this stuff up here? By flying? That's too inefficient. We have to be somewhat efficient on this planet here, on this moon. And it's a bit spooky to think that over there, this big ball there, that planet Jupiter, is actually what down means. Not this here, that's not down, that is down. Anyway, so we can now use our tools to remove these boxes from the lander one by one, which makes it a bit more convenient to access them. But since you don't need the lander anymore, you can also just dismantle the lander itself. And when you point with the tool at a thing, it will actually tell you what you can do with it. For example, here it tells you hand drill required to deconstruct, and if I do so, then all these things will fly all over the place, and the box will be an item that is folded together, but I can unfold it. Yeah, so here it says angle grinder. Yep. And that's what happens. I used the angle grinder and deconstructed it. Oh, what's that? This duct tape. Well, that's when your suit breaks. Then you can quickly wrap yourself with some duct tape and then you will survive. Otherwise, the leak will probably soon kill you. Okay, we're in the process of dying. Let me demonstrate what that means. Here's our tablet, which we need all the time. I can move these little windows around. And these windows are the inventory. So you just saw that this here, which is my inventory, has another inventory. And you can actually stack it. You can get a backpack and put a backpack in a backpack. Yeah, that works, but you know, keep it real, okay? So what does this tablet do? Right mouse button to turn it on? It does nothing. Why doesn't it do anything? Because it doesn't know what to do. This is space stuff. It doesn't have some Windows operating system on it with 1,000 apps or whatever, or Android, but you have to put some chip in there that tells it what to do. For example, here we have the tracker, useful to follow a beacon when you're out mining, because it's easy to lose your station, and when you lose your station, you are dead. This is for analyzing cable networks, what is consumed, what's connected to it. And this is the atmospherics analyzer. We see that the atmosphere is completely, let me turn on the light, is completely oxygen, super cold, and actually colder now during the day. There's my oxygen tank. It has 17.8 degrees Celsius, but I know that we started with 20. So this thing is cooling down because it's cold out here. And you can even see that here, convected 465 joules. This means that every game tick, that's every half second I believe, 464 joules are being convected away by touch to the atmosphere. You can also see radiation cooling here, but I guess the pressure here of the atmosphere is too high so that this is not having an effect, so there's no radiation cooling. There's also radiation heating, of course. When the value here or here is negative, then energy is being added to the thing. What about my water? It's at 14.9 degrees Celsius, which is much colder than 20. So how do I survive? I need a room that is not cold. That's basically what it comes down to. So let's make a room. How do we make one then? Here we have the basic building supplies, and I will now be a bit more efficient since I talked too much. I don't need the network analyzer soon now, but I know I will need the... Okay, whatever this is. Yeah, the what, glass sheets? Okay, I just discovered a few bugs, I guess. Tooltip bugs, but not too relevant. I need the plastic sheets, the glass sheets, I need this stuff and that stuff. I will need all of that, I know that already. If you play on Moon or Mars, you will have much more time, and you know, you have to accept that the first few times you fail, you will die. And that's not a bad thing, because you're experiencing the simulation. This thing is so deep. simulation-wise. I mean, System Shock 2, basically to me, the magic, okay, if you take the iron frames, you can build foundation for your stations, and that's what you need for walls and such. Right mouse button, then you get this build ghost. To me, System Shock is so important in gaming history and so magical because it gave us, I believe they strived to give us a virtual reality experience. Not a game in which you walk from left to right and shoot some things or eat some pills with Pac-Man, but a world in which you live that is realistic with electricity and such, and I guess I overbuilt a bit. It's not a bad thing, I can take them down again. How can I do that? Point at a thing with a tool and it would tell you welding torch and 1 iron sheets required to continue construction, or angle grinder required to deconstruct. And while I'm holding this stack in my hand, it will even be added to the stack again. You can see here that these things are not yet airtight and you can't even walk on them. They have 3 build stages. The current one, which is not useless, but is useless to us right now. So let's take the welding torch, which again has its own inventory. I can return the windows always to the default stacking situation by clicking this button here. It has a gas canister in there. Let's see what it has. There is 1/3 oxygen and 2/3 volatiles, which is fuel gas. And if you mix gas like this, you will have very efficient fuel. So let's put that away. Yeah, that works, okay. And start welding. Right mouse button to turn that thing on. And then click. These I only built to stage 1 because I want to save resources. I will need quite a few more iron sheets very soon. And since I know my way around in Stationeers, I will use here my mining drill. And I know what to do, you know, to get to places quickly. And we are kind of in an emergency situation here. This is Europa, and I wasted way too much time talking. Anyway, System Shock. Again, we have walls. We have something here that can place. Right mouse button. There's a wall. Can rotate it with the key that's shown there. R is maybe not the default key. I don't know. You have to push the key that's there, and you can just go here into the settings and see in the controls. Can also adjust the field of view. Can even set it wider than I have it right now. So that's my kind of game. How can you fail the implementation of field of view? I don't get that. Seriously, people. The 3D first-person interface, which is what this is. This is an interface. You are interfacing with a virtual world, with a virtual reality. And this interface functions as follows. The 3D perspective that you have in the world, in your real world, is replaced with a flat screen 3D simulation of this virtual world. So the bigger your screen, the better the implementation or the utilization of said interface. Therefore, my screen is rather big. It's 50 inches and I'm sitting close to it. I can touch it with my hand. And that's why I have such a wide field of view. Because I want to be in the game, obviously. And see, if you implement such an interface and you don't understand it, like most game developers actually don't, because they don't allow a high enough field of view setting, then I can only shake my head. What are you doing developing games? Back to the drawing board, man. Anyway, so right mouse button to place something. You can see here I can rotate that with the R key, but there's also the 6 keys above the arrow keys, which I can use to rotate arbitrarily. For example, I can rotate so that it becomes the ceiling basically, and I will need a ceiling. But I think before I do all that, maybe I should save some time and carry that stuff indoors. Because as long as we don't have a door, or let alone an airlock, that is not so tedious to do, you know, to carry that inside. Anyway, I believe in the concept of novelty, which makes sense. But what is novelty really? It's hard to define. But let's say when System Shock 2 came along and it brought with it, for the first time, in my opinion, a real experience of you are in this real simulated world. That was a new event that kind of shook the minds of the people, the potential of the things that could be experienced, an example of what can be made as a game and so forth. And I'm pretty sure, my opinion is that BioShock, the BioShock series, does not get close to that. They're not pushing those buttons. They're not pushing the buttons that they need to push to actually make a System Shock game, is my opinion. Okay. Anyway, so System Shock gave us some kind of virtual reality. And this game is once again that large step that System Shock gave us back then into the future of an immersive 3D first-person simulated reality. The same kind of large step forward again. And that is why this game is so important.
Power low.
Huh. Man, this looks so goofy what I'm doing. This is how you have to play the game? No, this is not how you have to play the game. This is how I have to play the game under these circumstances. This is the moon and I've wasted too much time. So this is not the moon and I have wasted too much time. So I have to be efficient. So things will get a bit crampy. Do I have all roof tiles now? Yes, I do. All wall tiles also. And that's dumb. I mean, I need some kind of entrance, right? I mean, where will I have my entrance? So let's remove one again. And then just put a door there, right? There shall be a door. Yes, a door. Why not? Maybe this dude should be in here. Oh, okay. That was convenient. And that's even more convenient. I just picked the doors. So just like the walls, which are kit, I didn't show you that, you can use the scroll wheel to get different variants. These are it's the window type, but there's also the non-translucent wall types. They're ugly. I want to start with the windows. That's nicer. Like that, we have the doors here, which are also a kit. The manual hatch, which I can open and close by hand. These have to be closed by crowbar, opened and closed by crowbar or electricity, but they are the only way to make a functional airlock. Same here, the composite doors. And then we have the composite roll cover, which can be used to cover up some cables or chips that you have to access often. And then you can open that, and then you can see the floor. This floor is covered then, but you can open this, and then the floor is open. Yeah. Like I said, you haven't seen anything yet. Okay, so we have the door of the station. You know that we have to point at a thing with a tool and then we will see what's needed. Welding torch and one plastic sheet to continue construction. Then we need a crowbar and 2 glass sheets. That could have been more efficient. You can see here, if I want to swap that with this doesn't work because our inventory is not that extensive. This is only for tools. You will get a more extensive inventory later. Okay, so we have a door. Nice. With that out of the way, no, that's not good. With that out of the way, we need to close up those walls, don't we? So let's do that efficiently. Instead of pointing at it with a tool again, because I know what needs to be done. You notice that we have 2 hands here, instead of the one tool that you hold in your right hand and the shield that you hold in the other. You can swap the currently active hand by pressing E. You see down here where the mouse currently is, there are some keys advertised. It's telling you what to do. You can toss something, you can place something down carefully, you can turn... Oh, the fuck, what's happening? Yeah, it's really cramped right now. That's what I get for trying to multitask instead of trying to be meaningful here with my constructions. Huh. Interesting. I've maneuvered myself into a corner. Yeah, you have two hands and you have to pick the currently active hand, and then when you click the left mouse button, that hand will do its thing. Or the right mouse button. Now you see why we need so many iron sheets, you know? That wouldn't have been good to use all of them. So, wall closed, wall closed, wall closed, wall closed, closed also. My god, it is so cramped in here. I will of course change that soon. And this, and this, and this, and all is closed but the door, but I can close it of course. And then we can just open our oxygen tank, which we have there, and then we will have atmosphere in here. That is, wait, we already have atmosphere in here. Yes, atmosphere that is minus 143 degrees Celsius. Thank you very much. That is very cold, and that kind of kills us. Actually doesn't kind of kill us, it does kill us. We need to get some atmosphere in here that is warm. One way to do that is I could just evacuate this room. I can install an air pump, and then I can unleash this into the room. And then we will have this warm air. Though how warm is it still at this point? Let me guess. 7 degrees? 6.15. Yeah, well guessed, I would say. Yeah, experience shows. But okay, then we have our atmosphere in here, maybe, and then whenever we open this door, there will be a rapid exchange of pressure and temperature. I mean, not super rapid, but, you know, rapid enough. We need an airlock, man. This is just a door, an airlock. So how do you make an airlock? Well, how do you make an airlock in reality? You put up a wall so that a room emergeth. You close up that wall. You install a second door. Oh, that was the sun, which was behind Jupiter this whole time, which is not fun on this planet, I'll tell you. But you know what, I think I have wasted too much time, so let me just put my mining belt where the mining belt belongs here, so that any ore that I mine will actually be picked up automatically and mine something while the sun is out. We can do some station building later. We will need this, but first I need iron. Iron, first and foremost, I will need iron. But I will also need gold and copper. You will know what you need by, okay, the question is, what do I need it for? I need it for a manufactory. If I want to, oh, volatiles, nice, I will need that also. If I want to manufacture a printer, then a 3D printer, because that's how this works in this game. If I want to manufacture a 3D printer that can make airlock devices, then I will need gold for that and other things, but when I pick that recipe, it will of course tell me that I need those things. And here, with the experience that I have, and that you will also have after your first few failed attempts on Easy, on the Moon or Mars, you will know that, and so you can go for things right away. You have to time manage, you have to space manage, you have to light manage, you have to electricity manage, you have to gas pressure manage, you have to, did I say temperature manage already? All of that has to be managed by you, in real time, all the time. But you can make yourself little helpers. You can see to that the pressure in your station is upheld. You can get an advanced spacesuit which has a chip slot. You can write a program that warns you when your oxygen canister is lower, but you already get some warnings here. It's built in already. You can do so many things, and so many things you will want to do. The arc furnace, for example, that comes with our lander, which we will use to melt some of the ores here that I will mine. It has to be triggered. You have to push the button and then it starts smelting. But once it is done smelting something, then you have to put in something else, and then you have to trigger it again. But what you can do is you can connect devices, their inlets and outlets, with the chute system. That's little boxes which have an input side and an output side, and they can connect things from a place to a place. things will move through them very quickly, a rapid pace. And such a thing can also be placed as on the input side of the arc furnace. And then you can just stuff some things into that stack, and then this will automatically be fed into your arc furnace. But you still have to trigger the arc furnace manually. But you can put up a logic chip or two, or an IC10, which can hold an assembly program that you can write, which will automatically trigger the arc furnace. And so then, when you come home from mining, you will just toss your things in there, and it will be smelted automatically, and you will move on with your stationeering on other fronts. But you have to build the chip first, with a manufactory that you have to build first, for which you need resources that you have to gather and smelt first. And the chip needs to be programmed on a computer that you have to build first. And you have to cable all that up, and so on and so forth. Sounds like a lot of work, and well, that's the wrong perspective. Apart from the mining, which is in my opinion a bit tedious, apart from that, but you can make it less tedious, you can get a faster mining drill. Haha, okay. Apart from that, you should see that this is an experience. Every part of it is the experience. The mining maybe not so much, except once you have a good drill, and maybe some entertainment. I mean, you can listen to an audiobook meanwhile. It's a great chilly-willy game, like Hard Space Shipbreaker, and sometimes you need your head, so you turn off the your audiobook and do stationeering again. I tell you, the amount of fun and entertainment and enjoyment and zen that you can have in this game is unparalleled, period. This is probably really the objective truth about this, not just some dude's fanboyish opinion. Yeah, well...
Power critical.
Yeah, 10% power left, not good, and the sun is about to go down, which means I will need my flashlight with an A, and I will... this will suck my battery even harder, and let me tell you, it is so cold here, this also drains the batteries. The cold itself does that also, yep. So, yeah, we're in a bad spot here. And have I found any gold yet? No, I have not. So let's fly high up, look for some glintering somewhere, and there, maybe in 4K resolution, if you can see that. Here, there's some glintering, and I will actually go there. And my station is over there and will soon be out of sight, but I will just remember my compass degrees are minus 144. No, they are 314. And I will just keep moving in this direction where, there's indeed gold. Very good, very good. And now you might think, but dude, you're about to die because you don't have... Oh, that's silver? Ah, crap, I needed gold. Silver is also valuable, but I don't need it right now. No gold here for me. Damn. Okay, let's take some silver with me. That I will die without my battery, right? So what will I do without that electricity? Obviously there's a solution, else I wouldn't be so la about it. I would even save my game now. Which the game, by the way, does automatically every 3 or 5 minutes, depending on what setting you have. I'm not sure what the minimum maximum setting is there. But I've turned that off for me. For reasons, I could talk for hours. So I can replace that battery with one of the batteries that I have on me. But these batteries are smaller, so I will have to make haste. But I have some batteries. For example, the mining drill has batteries. Or my drill, which I have used already somewhat, has a battery. So if push comes to shove, I will just drag that over, and then I'll be fine for some short time. So in this way, it is kind of like an astroneer, where things just plug into each other and just work, you know? In this way, also the cable networks work. See, now it's super dark, and if I wouldn't know where to go, 314, I would be so lost, man. Can turn off the head-up display, oh, whoops, by pressing F2. With F3 I get some console in screen. Let me just press escape and press help. These are not for you, not for the player, but they can be utilized. I just want to show you that it exists. And with F1, like I said, you get the Stationpedia, and that you get that with F1 is constantly being shown up here on the left. Now the light is on, so the battery will drain even faster. The station should be over this hill. Should be. Is it though? Yes, it is. Whew. Crisis averted. Sometimes you jump too high or too far, you can just kick your jetpack in and then you can move on. So I have actually another big battery with me somewhere here, which I need now rather urgently, as announced by the voice. This voice.
Temperature low. Temperature critical. Temperature low.
Yeah, always remember to turn off your mining drill. Is it on? Is it off? Well, in Stationeers... Ah, damn, it doesn't show the HUD then. In Stationeers, the buttons will show you what they do. So my filters are not off here. And my air and my AC, they are not off. They will be turned off if I click there. You have seen there are these connectors down here. They are for electricity and for logic. Like I said, you can program things, and for that you need a logic connection. In many devices, that connection is actually combined with the electricity connection. So it's just one cable. And if it's two cables, you don't have to keep them separate. You can just lead them together if you wish. Behold, effective, efficient, and yeah, what's that? Well, that's air streaming. What do you think that's? It's an atmospheric change of relevance, pressure change, or maybe there's some heat. Who knows? Somehow you have to experience that instead of holding up the tablet the whole time. So we need an airlock. The airlock needs to function, and we need warmth in here. And we need... actually, we need a lot of things that I don't have yet. Let me just do some things, and I will explain that later, because I'm kind of under pressure here. This airlock console will make sure that we get some... what's the word? Yeah, that stuff. Damn, I wanted to use the roof for the solar panel. Oh, then I don't, whatever. This will be the airlock logic. So there's some kind of logic chip that does all the airlocking. Very interesting. Yeah, well, not quite. Yes, there is such a chip. But you don't have to use it. You can also program your own airlock. And there's a simple airlock which only separates one atmosphere from the vacuum, or there's this one which is advanced, which can separate two atmospheres. Like here, when we want to keep the cold out instead of letting it into our station every time. So a battery charger will also not be too bad. I mean, placing it in the airlock is not the wisest approach, but okay. I don't care too much. I am under pressure right now, and you know, win some, lose some. It doesn't, not every ounce matters, just survival overall matters. Where are my area power controllers? See, the APC is a device that is basically just a switch that allows you to turn on, and there's two of them, but they're the same, they're just cosmetically different, upside down, one of them. They are basically a switch, and they also separate power networks, because power networks are a thing here. You actually have two different types of cables, and you will have to use them. But this thing also has a battery buffer, which you can use. I mean, I'm using it by putting a battery, and that's all. So if there's power in the battery, but no more power in my actual power supply, for example, from the solar panel that I can connect to this thing here, then I will still have energy in my airlock, which is kind of relevant if you think about it. Trying to find the most efficient path here, but there is none. So whatever. Let's. Yeah, the cables. You can just rotate with the. It's once again the mouse wheel that you can use to choose the different cables. But instead of choosing all the different ones, I will just choose this here and do what the tooltip tells me. Have an eye out for the tooltips. Do so. They are so helpful by now. See, when I have the wire cutters in my other hand, then I don't have to bother with that. I only need the straight and curved cables. The rest is autopilot. Yeah, the auto-rotate key really comes in handy here, I'll tell you that. And I'm doing it wrong. I'm cabling the airlock up differently than I'm usually doing, so it's always good to have a plan, but how much of a plan can I make while I'm thinking about what to tell you next? I mean, this is not exactly a dubbed video. This is all real time. So sorry if it sucks, I'm doing my best. It's not good enough. Then change to a different video. The universe is a large place, and we can all coexist nicely. So this dude I want to put over there. So you can see here on the right we have 51% water still in our system, is 72% food. Basically you could say I'm already very thirsty, but I'm not yet injury level thirsty. Well, how do we get some electricity in here? We have a generator. We actually have a generator that burns coal. And if I remember correctly, I tossed some in here. Yep, how much? 30. 30 is a good amount of coal to start with. There are other ways to remove the things. I can, for example, double click here. And then something happens that I have no clue what it is. Alright, it put that here. Oh, let's do this then. The arc furnace, the auto lathe, solid generator. Yeah, we need that one. The solid generator, please. I need some electricity and I need it now. You see that I could have placed that through the window. There is some cheesing that the game allows. I wonder if they will remove that later. I actually hope so. I want a mostly realistic simulation, and tossing things through the wall, which is still possible, isn't all that realistic, is it? Now, if I had placed the composite door, I could place cables down right here, but the glass door goes so much to the side that I can't. So, yeah, this wasn't the ideal way to place things. I guess I will move the solid fuel generator a bit further, or where will I put it? Maybe here actually, and I will turn it on. Is it now generating? No, it doesn't have any coal. As soon as I put coal in there, it will kick into gear. And these power switches are funny. See, they are not some mechanical thing that you turn like in reality and then the thing will act. They are also at the same time connected to the logic value. This thing also has a logic connection, and if it didn't, then that would be combined with a power connection. So yeah, where's my solar panel? I want to put that up too. And if you use a program or logic chip to turn this thing on and off, then this mechanical switch will also turn on and off, because it's just one with the with the logic. Now that is not very realistic, but that is one of those places where I think it makes sense to just ignore reality and go for fun and convenience. So the solar panel is not producing anything. Why might that be? And here we have our generator, and I will now toss some coal in there. Not too much though, because I mean, I can grab it out there again. You will see now that, yeah, actually I can grab it out there again. No, but for that I would have to turn that off. That thing closes. So you see that I'm tossing this through the window, which is unrealistic. Oh man, I'm wasting electricity. The cable is not... I'm wasting coal. The cable isn't even connected. This is unrealistic, yes, but it is very... You can just very quickly print a chute inlet thing here, which will then change this only by a wee hint. I mean, it will still be the same kind of interaction in the same place. So I think the fact that this is not yet implemented in a realistic fashion can be forgiven, and also the fact that I'm abusing it this way. And I wouldn't even have to do that. Wouldn't I have wasted so much time talking? So now you can see the battery is blinking, because now it's not at 0, but at almost 0, and that's what it does then. 5%, 6%, 7%. And I can turn this on, and now we have our power here for the doors. I will turn this off again, because it will constantly be consuming electricity here for the doors. Though right now, as the solid fuel generator is running, that's not so bad a thing. Because this thing outputs a ridiculous amount of power, much more power than we can currently actually store here. But let me charge that battery, I don't want to run into surprises. It's better if I do a few more extra mining runs. So where will I put the arc furnace? I could put the arc furnace in here, which will also heat the station, but there's a downside. The arc furnace excretes pollutant, and I want to be able to breathe in here. And since I've wasted so much time, like I keep saying, I will now do something that you should basically not quite do. I will be cheesing some more.
Power low.
Placing that through the window. No, not that. And this through the window. And weld it up. Only once. Because now I will actually pause for a second and change the music. So the arc furnace has two sides. We can see on the left there's the power connection, on the right is the logic connection, and on the left you can maybe see there's also a big arrow, big three-dimensional arrow that goes in there. On the right side there's an output arrow, and I want to be able to fuel that thing from in here. So I will just place it in this way. Actually, that was not right. And some of you might already have understood why that was not right. Yeah, glass door is the key word here. I need to power that thing up. It's actually not a good idea to... Oh, what's our solar panel doing? Outputting 29, 30 watts, not too much. It looks like the sun will be moving over here, and like it is not like straight above the solar panel, but diagonally. So can we utilize that? Yeah, we can actually. Here we can see 42 watts. Because this is also a kit. And now we can see it's 100 watts. I mean, 3 times that. Now, this makes you think, hey, do we have solar panels that can actually be pointed at the sun dynamically? Of course. What? Dude, have you not understood what this is? Yes, we have that. And yeah, you can program then, you can of course write a program using a daylight sensor that gets the solar angle, and then you can automatically point that at the sun. And then the storm comes and damages that. And then you have to repair them all. And that's tedious, right? But look at where we are. Here, in this room. Will the storm get in here? No, it won't. So you build a box room like this for your solar panels and you're fine. Or you invest enough resources to build the hard solar panels, the heavy ones, which cannot be damaged by storms. Power 33%. And soon is 34%. 34%. Come on. Okay. My suit is now warning me that the power is not too high. You can see here the game is still in development, but I mean seriously, you can play it. It's not like we have to reset and reload all the time. If you look at my account here, I have about 60 videos of Stationeers, many of which are 4 to 6 hours long. One session, straight, without cutting, without pause, without restarting the game. Even without dying often. I mean, often without dying. How do you do that with an early access game? Because it's a Rocketworks early access game, that's why. My praise is well deserved. This is not fanboyism. I mean, seriously, many of us have talked with the CEO, with Dean Hall, many times on Discord personally. Hey, what do you think of this? Could we do this? Maybe that would be a good idea. How about maybe making this an educational tool for school children? And then he said no, because this and then, you know, these devs, they are active every day, even though they make way less money off of this game than it costs them to make it. And they want to keep going. And the mission statement, or one of the mission statements that Dean Hall has given many times, is actually that one of the goals is that Stationeers shall survive if necessary, not just the studio Rocketworks in New Zealand, but also even the platforms on which it is sold. This game doesn't have DRM, so I said to him, dude, not in these words obviously, because we should be respectful. I said to him, dude, what about a demo version? I mean, people, they like demos. They are more inclined to play that then. And he said, yeah, however, that will be another version then to maintain and to deal with. And the game doesn't have DRM, so if people want to try it, they can just download it. I don't know where they would get that. I guess then you would be dealing with pirate stuff, and I don't know how much that cliche is true, that there's supposedly often viruses. I have no clue, I don't know. But, I mean, it sounds plausible. I mean, people are always looking for attack vectors on your machine, and so why should not someone, let's not name nationalities here or whatever, you know, upload some yeah, we'll find the words eventually. Actually, I don't know the fucking term anymore. I have only purchased my games in recent decades. I mean, always. I have always purchased them. Yes, for decades. And so what this thing's currently doing is smelting the iron. It will come out as an ingot over here. There's the logic connection, which is not yet there. So when you're programming and something doesn't work, stop. Don't start debugging your program. Instead, look around for the cabling, because that's often the mistake that you made. So he said, well, people can just copy that then. And I think that's not a good idea, but I mean, that's the best choice they can make currently, because there's just no resources to do that. See, in the main menu, there's a button for the tutorials. When you click on that, there's a message box, not saying, here will be tutorials, but it's saying there are tutorials here, but they can't keep up with the game development, and so they're currently not working, but you can roll back to an earlier version of the game easily with Steam, which you can. Really, right mouse button on the game in the Steam library, properties. Then in that window, you go on the left side to the entry that says betas, so the window content will change accordingly. And then from the drop down, you select pre-phase change. Pre-phase change, so before gas could turn into liquid and all that stuff. If you play the tutorials then, they will work completely, and they will teach you a lot of things about this game. Not in the hasty, chaotic, rambly, all over the place way I'm doing here. And if you think that my other teaching videos are like this one, no, they're not. I just like to do these, and I felt like, let's do another one, but more like a review. And now it has become whatever this is now. Okay. So also I wanted to do an introduction on Europa. Like, are you crazy on Europa? Yeah, okay, well, let me do that for you then. People these days. Okay, we have an ingot. What do we do with this then? We can put that in the manufactory. Where's the manufactory? It is num 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 num. Actually, num. Oh, there it is, num. There's and I can connect that. It needs power, right? I can connect it here. But that would not be wise, because only during the day and only during the running of this generator will there be electricity. I should connect it here to the airlock. And like I was starting the sentence earlier, you should not connect your whole station to your airlock. The airlock should have its own buffered power supply, so you don't get stuck in that thing. And even if you get stuck, this power supply with an empty battery, you know, you can just swap in your own, and then the thing will have power again, and then you're fine. Anyway, you should have that on its own power supply. for reasons that I just pointed out. And this is the 3D printer, auto lathe. The station should be hanging from a different power supply, and eventually you will also use transformers and heavy cables, and you will possibly have switch rooms for all of that stuff. And the game is really complex, but it's only as complex or as complicated as you need it to be, to some degree, you know? I mean, I'm already doing lots of complicated things here, but if you really think about it, I mean, look at it from the virtual reality perspective once more. Let me do some more talking. Like I said, System Shock, in my opinion, was so revolutionary and is so strong in our minds as an important game because it introduced a novelty event into the human reality. Which is, we are now capable of, the gaming has now evolved to the point where where we have 3D worlds in which we can actually experience ourselves as if it is real. A space station with some utilities that heal you, or some elevators, and there's radiation here, ooh, be careful, and so forth. That's what that brought to the table. That was revolutionary, it was awesome. And this game is yet another step forward, and you should try to embrace these aspects that it brings. And if you do that, I mean, that's the trick in life, right? As a baby, you are cast out into the world, but you want to get back into the warm bath where you didn't have to breathe for yourself and do anything for yourself, But then you adapt. It's burdensome, but then it is your will that changes. It becomes one with the flow of reality, and then everything is fine. You are successful, and that is how it continues all through your life. When you go to school at first but don't like it, when you go to work at first but don't like it, but eventually, if you want to be successful, and with successful I don't mean money and career, I mean when you want to experience life positively. That is what success means, man. Then you will try to turn your will once more into the wind. And when you have done that, then what you're doing will be fun. Now you might say, okay, can this be applied to anything and everything? To some degree? Yeah, I guess, yeah, it can be applied probably to most things. Oh, well, then it is completely arbitrary, maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe will is that arbitrary. Have you ever explored that? You have not? Then don't object to me saying here when I tell you that you should try to turn your will into the wind of this very much deeper than System Shock 2 reality, virtual reality simulation. So here we have electricity that goes from here to here, so we have to put a cable there, and then that happens. If I remove that cable, that no longer happens. This should make you happy. If it doesn't, then you have the wrong approach. You are in this exists now. You can experience yourself on a foreign moon, in a cold atmosphere that you have to survive in, that you can heat up with whatever means I will find eventually. Let me just continue the construction of this thing just quick. And when you think, oh, I want to implement that in a different way, then you implement things in a different way, and you add and you build and you do things and you think up things, and then it turns out the idea that you had actually works. That hypothesis that you had, like this device does this, that device does that. If I combine the two, shouldn't that? And yes, it will. Usually it does, and if it doesn't, then it's only because you forgot something, you overlooked something. Like, this button cannot be reached from here, but from above. Yeah, anyway, so now we have the auto lathe, and we have an iron ingot. What is it that we want to build then? I need to build the airlock stuffs, they are not complete. I need a second active vent, and I need a passive vent here, so that the air can be sucked out here into this room, and also sucked out here into that large room over here, so that we have some separation of atmospheres. And then I can warm this up, and then it will stay warm. And that should be my first and foremost priority. But my station is too small. I need to expand it. So what do? I put up some cables, apparently. And now we realize we only have 6 cables left. That's not enough cables, man. What do? Is there a solution? Of course there's a solution. Do I have to move the auto lathe? Do I have to unbuild that whole thing again? No. I mean, there's other ways. I need 1, 2, 3 cables. Let's just take 1, 2, 3 cables then. Because thankfully, the auto lathe. Let me just interrupt that. Can also print cables. It is not meant to print cables, so it does that very slowly, but it can. So if... Did I just toss that in? No, I tossed that behind. What? Dude. And now let's make some cables. I know I'm rather quick here, but I'm sorry, I have to try to survive. I know I have played this game enough to know that I'm kind of in a tight spot here. Not too tight, but, you know. And this thing, even while not printing, consumes electricity, like all devices do, and so I should turn that off when I don't need it, at least in the beginning, when my energy is not too rich. So I want to expand the station then. Where is... There's my iron frames. How much do I want to expand it? How far do I want to expand it? How much can I afford? I could do more right now, but I think I want to demonstrate some things, and so let's expand the station twice. One time with the airlock open and one time with it closed. As in, once we have a proper atmosphere in here that we need to protect, because once you have expanded it, you need to take down the wall. And what happens then? Well, things get cold, don't they? So we need some iron sheets. I have some iron sheets still, but not enough. Oh, my electricity burned out. I don't have any anymore. Then I have to burn some more coal, I guess. Yes, this seems very tedious, but you will get flowing, you will get a flow going, you will have, for example, you will have more solar panels, you will have a station battery that is not this flea fart here, but something proper with balls, and multiple of these even. You will have wind turbines, you will have automatisms that would refill. For example, I can have a deep miner. Currently, things might change on that front later, who knows. Which would mine all kinds of stuff from the ground, which I can then automatically centrifuge. And some of that will then be coal. And that I can automatically feed into that generator, and then I have an endless loop of production. Like we already have on this planet, so it's not unrealistic, you know? How many do I need? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but rather 12. Then I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then for the roof also. And I need some more so I can still make the other manufactories. First and foremost, I need the hydraulic pipe bender. That's the name of the atmospheric sprinter. If I abort a production process, no resources are wasted. By turning this off, I save electricity, because these are permanent 10-watt consumers. How do I know that? Glass door. Because it's written here. This is the structure glass door, the thing that is built in the world. That's important to distinguish from the item constructed from this. This is the kit. This is an item. The item that you can hold in your hand, for example. And this item can build, like I already explained quickly earlier, the glass door, composite roll cover door, and the manual hatch. Yeah, let's expand the station. You want to see what this is like if it's played for real?
Power critical.
On hard difficulty. Then you can watch my Europa survival playthrough series. Why I do that is 6 or 7 episodes long so far. Or no, wait, actually it's 11, 12 or so. It's a lot of episodes. And it's successful. I mean, I die a few times, but not in the beginning. It's usually stupid deaths, like I lost my station and suffocated, or I forgot to turn my thingies on and then I was in a panic situation and didn't realize that's so obvious mistake. And so forth, stuff like that. happens, and then I just reload the game. Because if you play Stationeer difficulty, when you die, you're standing out here naked in the cold, and you might not have time to get into your station quickly. You can also put up a spawn, and then you can basically register yourself with that spawn, so you would start in the station, but I don't do that. I rather like the reality simulation. Now you might say, well, but when you reload the game, how realistic is that then? You know, that can more easily be explained away. I mean, okay, let's say this. In easy difficulty, when you die, you spawn again with a spacesuit and with a battery and such. So you will suddenly have more resources in the game that you didn't have to make. That takes away from the density of the simulation. Suddenly there's magically stuff appearing. Even if I play on Stationeer difficulty and spawn naked in the station on the spawn that I haven't registered myself to, then the fact that this happened will permanently be on record with that game. I mean, not like there's a flag in the save game, although there actually is. It will tell you how long you have survived without dying. But I mean, it's also in my head somehow. It's like when you write a story, and then at some point you think, oh no, that page, that's a bad paragraph. Let's remove that and let's write a different paragraph. Instead of later revising that but letting the paragraph stand. I guess you get where I'm coming from. Okay, let's put up some walls. Probably not enough of those, then we will just print them. Because the autolathe can do that too. What's absolutely irreplaceable at the beginning of the game is the autolathe and the arc furnace. I mean, you can make, of course, the arc furnace with, I think, can you make it with the autolathe? Oh, actually, I don't know. I've never been in that situation. And you need a frame to build on, and you need some iron sheets and some cables and your tools. So some things are absolutely essential in the beginning. You can make all those things, but to make those things, you already need some things. So when you start out, I have a playthrough ex nihilo, Mars ex nihilo, where I intentionally destroyed my lander to the surprise of the viewer, hopefully. But I prepared myself. I took some things into my inventory from what I had
Temperature low.
in my
Temperature critical. Temperature low.
from what I had in my lander at inventory, and so I could survive. And then with those minimal resources, I made it. Okay, we need to get more coal because we have an energy problem.
Hydration critical.
And
Power low.
we have more problems actually. So let me deal with those then. Excuse me. Excuse me while I don't die. Hopefully. Need to find coal. It's usually close by because coal is rather abundant. Now you can see we have something bright there. Yeah, that's the LED of the power generator. However, it is doing that without power. And that's easy to lose your station. Where is it? Does anyone know? It is there. In this direction. I need coal, man. Definitely need coal. This I will also need oxide. There's enough oxygen here. I mean, the entire atmosphere is oxygen. But if I want to use the furnace, not the arc furnace, there's another furnace, and there's even yet another furnace. Yeah, it's a complex game. If I want to use that, then I will need
Power critical.
something that I don't have, which is power. So we'll just go in this one direction now. What is that? We're 90 degrees, so this is 270 degrees. Yep. Seems a bit cheaty to do it like this, but I mean, what's really cheaty is if you print the GPS cartridge, which can show you on the tablet. Let's see, that would have been 90, that would be 100. 100, everybody remember 100, and I will ask you later. That will show you on the tablet your actual world coordinates, basically the game simulation coordinates where you're at. And I find that too fourth wall breaking. I mean, it's not unrealistic. In reality, you have such a thing also, but I don't want that. It's too, I don't know. I don't use that. What I use instead is I use the compass, and of course I use the tracker cartridge and the beacons. And I also actually, in one playthrough, the Zrillion playthrough, that's one of the DLCs. Dude, if you buy this game, and you should buy this game, and you should buy it full price, then you should also buy all the 4 DLCs, the uniforms, which are useless but decorative, the DLC where you can play a robot, which only has a battery, but you don't have lungs and food to take care of, or the Zrillion, where you breathe in volatiles and breathe out N2O, the combination of which is the most potent fuel that this game has of the 2 fuels, or the the cosmetics DLC, where you can have more looks for your character. Can define the looks here. No, not here. Here. And such. You should buy all of those. And if you have the Zrillion... Okay, I have the Zrillion DLC, and in that playthrough, I actually made a program that detects how far I am from the station and tells me that remotely on the advanced tablet's speaker that I carried with me constantly, so I know how far I am away, and with that I can then gauge whether I'm getting closer or further away, which is a fun way of navigating. It's ridiculous also. So where was the station? 100. I would just burn through all the coal now. I need electricity. Period. I need to get my my battery game back up to snuffs. What I should also do, actually I realized something I have very rarely, if at all, done. I have 2 of these APCs. I could therefore go here and is that where it goes in? Output. No, that's the output. All right. And charge a second battery while I'm at it. So not just this one, but also that one. I'm fed up with all this chaos. Let's be brutal. And maybe get a battery first. Use the one of the tablet, why not? Not these ones, these are just the seeds from the plants. And not that one, because it has all the spray paints. That's kind of cumbersome to have lying around. Let's put that away. Now the solar panel is doing stuff, and once we have the electronics printer, we can make a multiple of these. So, if you want to see the actual depth of this game, you will have to get into it, like I said, for many tens of hours. Just me showing you in this playthrough will not cut it, even though, of course, I will try to get to places. And I don't know how far I will take it. It was a spontaneous decision today. I don't know how far I will go.
Power low.
Man, I should have made more cables. You always need cables, man. And we don't have any power. So let's burn through coal. Maybe also charge some batteries while we're at it. This one is not yet cabled up, so I will just use this.
Power low.
Is it turned on already? Now it's on. Oh, I have to turn this on also. Basically, this one will now be drained into that one, which is ridiculous, but it's the way it is now. So let's smelt something while we're at it. This maybe... Dude. And then do away with this crap. We really need a bigger station. Do you concur? Dr. Huffer? Yes, okay. Do we need one? I think we need one, but let's take 2. To make things slightly less awkward. You have seen earlier that I dragged my mining belt into the belt slot where my tool belt once was. The tool belt doesn't have any special function like that, but the mining belt does, and so it makes sense to always keep it there, and I always keep my
Power critical.
tool belt here. Is this charging? It is. Do I have another battery that I can use? Yes, this one. And this one can be charged while we're at it. And I'm still making cables, but maybe that's not a bad thing. This one is connected. We can now charge batteries that way, which I will choose to do. So we can actually hang our station from this one now, instead of from this one. Why not? Oh, did I mention storms? I did mention storms. What does the storm do? It damages the solar panel. It will blow away my loose items when they are outside.
Power low.
And will even damage them. So even an ingot will take damage. Ah, this is getting ridiculous. Mine goes here. Always these individual single cables that I'm picking up, right? Wouldn't it be nice to get them stacked right away? Of course you can do that. What did you expect, man? Oh, I have two of these thingies. One extra is in my lander for whatever stupid reason. And I just picked that up because I thought I didn't have one. You will see that this one will very quickly change from blue to a different color to green because the cold is discharging it. So we need some walls. Some iron walls to continue the tradition. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4 iron walls. Question, do I have enough glass sheets? I don't think so. Or did I toss them somewhere? I mean, I kind of lost track. Oh, there they are! I have glass sheets! Wonderful! I think we have produced enough electricity by now. Let's turn that off. And turn that off also. I could basically just have... Yeah, actually I'm stupid. Instead of just using the resources I already had, I made new ones. Oh, I made only 3? No, I made 4. Because, I mean, this wall is going to be taken down now. I could just use those. You can also unbuild this, even though it is welded, and it will not lose you anything. The only thing you lost is welder fuel. And once you have the arc welder, which doesn't excrete super large amount of heat, and doesn't pollute the atmosphere, which this one actually does, and you have to take care of that, man, for your plants and for yourself, it will only consume electricity. But otherwise, resources, the game is fair. So a manufactory will never lose your resources. There will never be an aborted process that will then, oops, there is no waste in there. This will not happen. So before I can make the manufactory that I want to make, I need to get rid of some stuff. Carrying way too much crap. And I need to go mining for... Oh, see, it's green now. Instead of the other color. Am I not missing a battery? Oh, there they are. Or whatever. Already this is the, I think this is the normal discharge from the cold. Yeah, 52% left, man. Even though I didn't use them at all. It's just because it's cold. That's cold, man. I need gold. Sun, please show me where the gold is, by the glinter that I can observe by moving sideways. While I'm wasting valuable jetpack. I see something glintering that away. Okay. 360, as in... Let's go to 180 and then we should find it. Do I have enough resources? Well, I am very, very thirsty, actually. So that's a problem. Where's that goal that I had seen? Or whatever that was. Was it even further? This is getting spooky. Was it this far? I must have missed it. Damn. Okay, this is bad. So let's go back roughly into the direction of 0 degrees. Oh, silver, great. Maybe that's what I saw. Just wanted to highlight it somewhat so it can easily be seen. I need gold, else I cannot make the manufactory. Copper is also always needed, but not as urgently right now as gold. There have been times when I thought that a certain material might not have spawned on a planet, but that has never happened to me. So it's not like that's something that's not a thing. Okay? Rather the opposite. See, oh, there's gold. The hot planets, they don't have any ices. But it can happen sometimes that they do have ices, at least nitrice. And I believe supposedly the reason is, not that it is a good explanation, but the reason supposedly is that you had some game session on a different planet and then you started a new playthrough, or you loaded an existing playthrough on a hot planet, and then you went to a new direction where chunks of the world had to be spawned, and then for some reason the rules of that world were violated. So bugs like that still occur. But if you start your game from the desktop, and I mean, you can load and save games many times, you can switch between worlds. It's early access still, but you can play it just well. Multiplayer still has some hard desync issues, I believe, but it can also be much fun. I have been playing with 6 to 7 people for days on a server which had then quickly had some large station going with facilities for canister refueling and manufacturing and all that. Very cool. What you're currently hearing is my character breathing heavily, which is the expression of pain, you know. There's also coughing and such, but this is when the avatar is expressing that it is suffering. That is suffering. Bit lame if you ask me, but that's what it is. And that is because I currently am completely thirsty. I have no liquids left basically in my system. I mean, I need to drink something. Yeah, let's say it like that. I need to drink. My health is going down. This value here wasn't there before. Now it's already at 91. So that's a problem. It's advisable when you find some ore to not take the topmost that you can see right there immediately, but instead to dig down first, because you want to find that place again if you haven't harvested it yet completely. But it's not so necessary. The planets, the moons are vast afield, so you don't have to pick up everything. It doesn't matter. Can you imagine this with double the speed of consumption and damage taking, which is what Stationeer difficulty is? Or is it even 2.5 times? I'm not sure. And hunger and water ticking down. You might think that's super tedious to refuel all the time, and yeah, it is, but you can eat higher quality foods and then you will have more reserves basically. And you can improve your mood. That's also a thing. That's rather new still. So 0 degrees then. And let's smelt that gold. Where is the station? Where is the station? I think I just saw it. No, I didn't. I thought I did, but I did not. Ah, there it is. Lucky me. And the sun is not there. You can see where the sun is because that's where it must be. Jupiter down there, somewhere down there. Gold then. I left this all this stuff on because I'm not too concentrated right now. So that... Oh, I did not. I am concentrated, for behold, for I am so concentrated. Let's pick this up then, somehow, and put it here. Because I want to do some production. Gold smelts very slowly, so it's advisable to go for advanced methods of smelting anyway. The station has been expanded. No, it has not. I still have to close up the roof. Why didn't I do that yet? We just heard that something happened that smelled more gold for I need it. 4 is not enough.
Out low.
And you will now observe a little phenomenon. I have 2 ingots here. The one I just smelted, the 4 grams, and then 1 gram. Because I had immediately interrupted that thing, and then it will keep going until that one thing is done. That was a coincidence, actually. Didn't plan on this. So now we need to make the pipe bender, because I want to have an airlock, so things are not so cold in here. I will need more iron. Do I have more iron? I thought so. I thought I had tossed some iron ingots somewhere here. But maybe not. Hard to tell with all that. Oh, there is it. That is... Now, this production process will consume electricity, and that electricity is gone. So it's bad if that is interrupted. Which can actually happen even if you do everything right, because Stationeers recalculates the power networks when you attach a new device, and so it can happen that an ongoing production process is actually interrupted. And then you might say, well, that's lame. Well, you can think that away. Maybe it's even intentional, because that's some kind of electric shock that goes through the system. Though that doesn't make sense. You have to turn the device on first, otherwise there will not be load. Okay, we have a closed station and there's some space here also. Is the thing done almost? No, it's not. That takes a long time. 25%, man. So why did I click?
Power low.
Here we have the auto lathe. Now I select a different recipe, and then it will tell me what I need to make that recipe. For whatever reason, even though it's still saying it's hydraulic pipe bender. I selected the different recipe so that the production process would abort afterwards, because that's what's going to happen. Oh, the disk, yeah. We will need that to configure the airlock. And I will need to connect the hydraulic pipe bender with a cable. I can do that right now. I mean, the cable is not dangerous, for there is no load being added. And I believe here, I'm not sure. Will this be here? We will see. My health is already at 60%, and soon also the what's the word? My food will be at 0, and then it will be... you can see here something about my health. My hygiene is decreasing because my suit and helmets are on, and something else here? No. Because when the 0% food and 0% water are attacking me, basically, then that makes more damage. How cold is my water by now? 14 degrees. Okay, that's nice. How about my oxygen reserves? Deadly. Plain and simple. This is deadly. If I breathe that, I will die. So we have a problem. How can I solve this problem? I don't know yet, because I have never been in this situation. Let's see. I mean, of course I have to heat it up, yeah. But I'm talking about the flow. Will it all fit together? Will I make it in time? Will I be able to do the machines that I need to make? Will I be able to make them in time? I think it was about 60-something%. Now it's at 40-something. 96%. Come on, dude, I need to do some stuff here. And that would be the hydraulic pipe bender. It's a bit close for my taste, so I have to move it over. Wrench? Ah. So, obviously, you would probably long be dead by now, or at least you would just die eventually of, you know, having frozen to death by not having power or whatever, because you don't have the knowledge. See, this is a game where you level up, and the more you level up, the better you can play the game. Now let's make the furnace, which is quite the beast, and I will set that thing up indoors, which you normally do not do, for the purpose of heating the room. That is my approach that I always use on Europa, which has served me well, and is thus the approach that I will stick with. I need something else of my repertoire here. Okay, now we need to make some stuff. Do I have some iron still that I could smelt? Yep, I do. Do that then. We have day 4. You have about 7 days, 7 or more days, before the first storm may hit, and before you really want to be safe, and maybe also have an upright wind turbine, you know? That would be a good thing to have. So now I want an active, or rather first a passive vent, but for that I need iron that I don't have. Or I do have actually. Come on. We'll just interrupt that process. Soon it will tell me that my health is critical, and then I should really take action. I will need 1 passive vent. I will need 1 pipe cowl, which is kind of the same as the passive vent, except it doesn't have to be mounted on a wall. So why don't I use pipe cowls on both ends then? I think the passive vent might actually have more volume and thus might be faster. Now I need an active vent. Do I need copper for that? I do. Do I have copper? I have. Meanwhile, that thing is being printed and the power is very low. Worrisomely low, because I don't want that to be interrupted, man. And if I swap that battery in time with the one I have on me, then I can use that coal. I mean, I can of course just stop the burning process also. Where are my pipes? There they are. The pipes are always closed, so this is the way to open them up. This is also one of those gamifications, which make a lot of sense. Once you have played it enough, you will see. Let's cable up that stuff here. So what's missing still to have an actual proper airlock is a gas sensor. Because currently the airlock has no way of knowing when it's evacuated. The gas sensor delivers that kind of information. Also what gases are in there and so forth. But the airlock doesn't care. The airlock only cares about whether there's pressure. Now I have all the devices needed to let the airlock actually run. But the airlock needs to be configured still. I will do that soon. Very soon, because I need to eat. What is how my electricity doing? 36%. Can I smelt some more? Yes, I can. And then I want to put up the furnace. There's other ways to heat the station, and maybe the furnace will not be the way I do this here, because I might have different concerns. I mean, it might be too urgent for me to do this way. I will explain all of that later, maybe. Huh, that would not be so good. This way? I don't think so. That is too close to the wall, or is it? That should still work, or... Ah, damn it. This is too close, I don't want that. So let's do it here then.
Health critical.
Yeah, health critical. That is something you should take seriously. I have quite often fallen over dead because I played that card with too much intensity. So then, let's heat up the room, huh? Shall we? I will first configure the airlock, the gas sensor is part of it. First I have to configure the exterior active vent, and the device cannot know which one that is, but coincidentally I clicked the right one. This must therefore be the interior one. Glass door, oh, that's not the exterior, let's take this one. Okay, airlock is functional, this can be stored up there. Right, I forgot one thing that I always forget with this stupid thing. The advanced airlock allows you to also define the repressurization level. So now I can cycle that, but I don't have time for that. I need to get it warm in here, stat. So let's do that. I have a stack of flares, and I will just light up all of them, which will heat up the room quite some. The question is, will it heat up the room in time? And I doubt that. But I have another stack of flares, don't I? And I can use those also, which will accelerate the heating up of the room. And this might then be overall too much heat, probably, but there's a way to deal with that. This is complete waste, but why not? I mean, I need to survive. Yeah, the frame rate is going down. I think that can be forgiven. 13% health. You know what? Let's take a short sip here.
Temperature critical.
I just
Temperature low.
drank something in the bitter cold of minus 100 degrees, but only a tiny sip, which is enough to stop the counting down of the health and actually starts the counting up of the health. Personally, I think that should be changed. I think that the counting up should start only once your at least one of these is high enough or whatever. Yeah, because this is definitely on the cheesy side of things. Iron ore. Let's turn that off. Minus 85 degrees. What's the pressure doing? It's increasing. The pressure in this room is increasing. We had 40 kilopascals. 100 kilopascals is on Earth the pressure at sea level, or 101, I'm not sure. The target that we have set here, you know. But now that the air is getting hotter, it expands, which means that we have more pressure in here. That is what this game simulates. You don't have that in another game, where you're standing in a 3D world with a low frame rate. I've never had it this low, really. This is an exceptional situation. And where you can have gas pressure and gas mixtures, actually, there is some nitrogen here. Where that came from, I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Let's ignore that. Oh, I have some gold still that I can smelt.
Hunger caution.
Let's do that then. Minus 38 degrees. I wanted to use the furnace for heating, but once we have a nice temperature in here, and now that we have an airlock, it will also stay stable. We'll be fine. Too bad I can't see how long these burn. They don't produce any waste gases, they just burn completely cleanly. So that's a good thing. Maybe I should actually prepare for an emergency that I see coming. I will remove the glass doors from the configuration, so the airlock is now no longer functional. But this will allow me to open the exterior door, because if it gets too hot in here, that is also bad. Though some extra heat would be nice. I mean, here Mr. Dude is at minus 45 degrees. If I breathe that, I will damage my lungs very, very badly. Oh, look at that. I guess I can reinstate the airlock. Which one is that? Nope, that's not the one. See, exterior, exterior. The first one I click will become my exterior. Was that right? Yes, that's right. Is that off? I didn't place it in the best way. Temperature, minus 7 degrees. It's still negative degrees. God damn it, man. But this will not do so much damage to my lungs. It's a
Temperature low.
bit ridiculous that it does damage to your lungs in the first place. I mean, minus 7 degrees. I mean, talk to a Russian or someone else who's living in, at least it's part of the country being fucking cold. Okay. Will I expand the station further here for another manufactory next to this one? I don't think so. I don't know really what to put into this corner. And so let's finally get some order in here. That we have achieved some low level of survival. I will put a locker here. And then we can clean up some stuff. For example, let's see what food reserves I have. The microwave can be used to cook your potatoes. There's... oh, there's another tablet. Is not what I would say. For there is none. Yeah, battery is very low. And my own battery is also very low. We need to burn more coal. At the beginning, you have to go through those motions. Sadly, that's the way it is. Well, let's do this then. And we'll just stash that battery here. I wonder if they also discharge at minus 7 degrees. But let's continue the building of the furnace, and let's look at the atmosphere. Some O2, some CO2, and the CO2, where did that come from? Well, I had my helmet open for a moment, so I breathed out some CO2. That's where that came from. 0.001 moles. That is an absolute number. It's independent of the temperature. The same goes for the percentage. It's an absolute number when it comes to the temperature or to the pressure, because it's a ratio. You know, this is 100% oxygen. Almost, it's a rounding error. The rest is this and this. And now that I will use the welding torch, I will actually heat up the room a bit. Oh, I have to use the right tool. Is this actually useful here? I guess so, I'm not sure. Minus 7 degrees. 17 degrees, minus 2 degrees, minus 4 degrees.
Power critical.
See, of course, that the temperature where I am standing changes, and then that spreads out, you know. I will swap the battery now, because else I might forget about it and waste tons of coal. I don't want that. So the furnace has now been constructed. Here is where we where we put the ore in, and the fuel also. But we can also pipe in fuel or just hot gas, because it only needs heat, really. Here on this side, that would be the output pipe. I want to connect that actually, because else I cannot empty the furnace, because nothing will come out there. Just like pipes, the furnace is a closed thing. It will not. It is not open to the world. The auto-rotate key is really a blessing. I just point in the general direction, and then else it will give me all kinds of stupid rotations. And a proper engineer will do it like this, so that it points upwards, because that's the intended direction of the gas flow. So that is then expressed. Also, you can see here now it's horizontal because it's closed, like an obstruction across the pipe. That is also how it is done in reality. Oh, I have 2 of these. I could have actually unscrewed this dude also. I don't have a drill battery. And already the cold is getting to it. $75. Well, if I connect now a gas pipe here to the above, when there is gas in there, that gas will be cooled down because it is now touching the outside. That is a thing, yes. And so we would need an insulated pipe to make sure that we are not constantly letting some cold in from the outside, but it is not that drastic. We can just leave it like that for now. It's important though that this thing can relieve its pressure after a few smelting runs, and I want to be able to do that before I start that thing up. Which also means now we can see for the first time the furnace, the airlock in action. The pressure in there now increases even further because this box is now no longer in here. The gas is over there in the other box. Makes sense, right? There are also ladders in this game and stairs, so you don't always have to
Hydration critical.
use the jetpack or something. So look at the temperature, minus 449 degrees, and now nil, because no atmosphere means no temperature. And now minus 5 degrees. Why do we have minus 5? We had minus 7, didn't we? Well, I guess the reason is that I welded something in here. Well, let's... I would like to use the furnace now to heat up the room, but I want to first get the materials for steel, so we get our station battery. One of the most important items ever. And for that we need iron and we need coal. Coal we need anyway, so would the sun come back, please? Okay, nothing's happening there. We have to then maybe first do some things in the station. We shouldn't decorate, so to speak, all the walls with stuff. We should keep in mind that maybe we want to expand the station. For example, here might be a door, an airlock, or maybe just an opening where I can expand everything. If I put a table here there now, then even if I expand the station, then that will be in the way, and later I have to remove something. This is not a problem, but I mean, why? You know, if I can do it more intelligently. If I can do, that's the thing. Maybe I want to put that here. There are various tables. Some of them are electrified, and I need an electrified table to put up the what's its name? The microwave, which we completely don't need to do right now, but I mean, then that's out of the way. So I first place that with a key that was shown down here. For me that is T. When I don't toss that... Oh, that would also have worked. Nice. And then I use the wrench. And then there's cabled up to the table. Now I cable the table up and I can turn the table on and off. And thus power the microwave, which I can also turn on and off. Huh. Well, we need more cables anyway. And the next thing that we should print here is the electronics printer. So what do we do if we have no more resources, even though we do? We just open this thing while the thing is on, and then we get the resources back. They will be stacked. So if you put 2 iron ingots in there, what you get out is 1 iron ingot. Up to a size of 500 or so. Which you don't have to remember. That will come over time. Of course you will remember it and you will utilize it, but that's the kind of stuff that currently is just complicated, when later it will just be your second nature. And I see that we actually had some copper here anyway, so when the sun is back I want to go mining. So I need to make sure that my devices are up to snuffs. For example, 70% for the drill is a bit low. That thing actually needs a large battery, not a small one. Mine is good. The materials I want to store here. Lots of micromanagement, right? Well, remember, we started next to a lander and had nothing. So in the same way, we're kind of still standing next to the lander and are having nothing. Even though right now, now we have a few small things we have. So things are getting better. And in this way, things will keep getting better acceleratingly. Things will gain momentum. That should be enough for now. You should always see to that. Here you see 8.5. Now it's 8. Now I stop. Now the amount of copper in there is 8 grams. If I keep 8.5 and I open this thing and get it out, there will nothing will remain in here. And so I will have cut down my 8.5 copper to 8. That will be lost. Now that is something that you have to consider. I mean, you can ignore that later. You will have so many resources. You will just toss a 500 thing in there. Oh, you need 5 gold. Toss 500 gold in there. Don't care. But that is very much down the road. We are not there yet. It's a bit sad that I have to do so much micromanagement right now instead of being able to enjoy the atmospheric aspects. But that's what it is. We have to deal with that. Or gardening. How's the, what about that then? Why is the temperature now -6 degrees? Wasn't it -5? I'm not sure. I don't think that this pipe up there can be the culprit. Anyway, we should drink some more.
Temperature low.
You see here that when I press the button, the right mouse button to drink, that it fills up a progress bar. The same happens with this kind of food, which is almost a drink, this soup, you know?
Temperature low.
You don't have to run the progress bar to its full length to gain something. And so if you're drinking down here, so that if the water is at 0%, so your health is counting down, you just want to push that button very shortly. Because only once you have released it, what you have done there will count. Some foods will, like potatoes, you have to... Wait, how is that again? Well, some foods you have to push down the button for a long time so that the whole eating process has taken place and then you release, else that will not count, much like an aborted manufacturing process. Should I make the electronics printer? Not a good thing. Our power is down. I should turn off everything I can. Day 5. The storm is coming soon, and I'm not ready. Not good. Let's prepare for mining. Tablet here. I could put these in here, but these will melt. They have to stay in the belt. Can I put them here, actually? Oh, I can put them in my backpack. Well, that's good then. Let's put them there. But if I put them in my hands, they will melt. Okay, maybe not in this environment, but if it gets if we are at above 0 degrees, then yeah, it will. Maybe even in my backpack, I'm not sure. You hear the sound. This Tweety Bird thing, it is discharging. There's also a higher variant of that, when it will not blink red and blue, but green and blue. Now it's not discharging except from the cold. Which means that maybe I want to cycle... Oh, I can't. Yeah, what's my next step? I need coal. I need coal and I need iron. Iron and coal I need to make steel. Where will I go? Since I haven't yet... Oh, that's convenient. Yeah, that's a bit stupid. That's still buggy how the sun comes out behind Jupiter. 270 is 90. I will just go straight here. It's the easiest way for me not to get lost. And walk a few paces. So let's reiterate. What have we done so far? We landed. We were next to the lander and we were in the process of suffocating and freezing to death and hungering to death. Well, we also need to drink some. And to get out of that, we need to get some oxygen. That problem is not yet solved. Actually, the air canister that we have, which was at minus 45.1 degrees just then, is currently heating up slowly because the station is at minus 7 degrees. Or was at minus 5 degrees. Now I get why it was cooled down. Of course, this minus 45 degrees canister, which is quite massive in its volume, that will not just warm up, it will also cool down the station. The energy is being transferred. That's how this game calculates this. Have you ever been in a game like this? No. This is the first time. It's the first time you can have such an experience, where you design the reality that you live in a way that is more meaningful than anything you have ever had before. I would like to find some iron, please, if that is not too much asked. I shouldn't deviate. There's coal. Okay, I would have to go back to 270, but now we have to go back to 280. The further I am away, the less I have to adjust, obviously. It's easy during the day to make such assessments and then be cool about it, but when it gets dark and then you miss your station by 20 meters because you didn't see it to the left or right, yeah. And during a storm, you can't see 10 or 20 meters far, you can almost see nothing. So it's good to have the beacon. I have a beacon in my station, I could have used that, and I also have the tracker chip, but I don't want to use that now, it's too cumbersome. There's too many things I already have to deal with, I just want to cut down on the cumbersome. Yeah, coal, I have 2 stacks of coal, that's fine. Now I need tons of iron, please, because I would like to make my first batch of steel, one that has huge motherfucking balls. It would also be nice to get some more gold and other resources. So that's 270, 280. We can see that broad mountain over there. There's also a landmark that we can follow. Do I still have my light on? No. That looks like a copper, I think. Yep. And copper is always needed. But I do need iron now. So now we would have to correct for 200, almost 300. 300. That film. Easy to remember. Yeah, it's easy to dismember where I have to go. Yep. Now, soon we will have a station battery that will store a lot of electricity, so we can relax, because that station battery will really make a huge difference. You might ask, okay, but we then have to mine a lot of coal still to fill it up, right? No, we don't, because the what's its name? The coal generator outputs 20 kilowatts. 20 kilowatts, and the area power controller with its buffer battery cannot take in so much at once. I don't know where it's written how much it takes, but you can measure that, of course, yourself. There are the devices in the game, you can just do some science, why not? Why not just science the shit out of this game, huh? So, for example, measure when and how much... Oh. Okay. Measure if and how much the batteries are discharging due to the cold. You can do that. You can even put a graph up with that. This is water ice. Stationpedia, water ice. Ice water, that's what I just mined, and you can see it has water in it, but it also has nitrogen in it. Huh. Yeah. So if I melt that, I will get both. And you have to consider all of it. So the Kelvin scale is used in science because it's conveniently starting at 0. You know, heat is not some magical force, heat is just motion. You should understand the universe you're living in. We're not talking about you have to get to the drawing board, stand in front of the class and write down some interesting formulas and stuff. I'm talking about the fundamental understanding of what you're living in. For example, when you're suddenly exposed to a vacuum, that's bad for your body. But let's assume that let's just ignore that aspect, or let's say you are that the depressurization is slow. In Hollywood, they tell you constantly, they lie to you, they tell you that you freeze. Suddenly, you're freezing solid. That's bullshit. What's happening is as follows. Due to the lower pressure, the boiling point of water decreases, or let's say it like this. When we have water and we heat that up so that it evaporates into, well, actually gas, that's what happens, then it takes more room because the molecules, the water molecules, are now further apart. They're drifting about, you know? But if you push them, basically with your hands, except that wouldn't quite work, together, then you can form drops again. That is really how simple that is in principle. So when there's high pressure, then I mean not sea level pressure on Earth, where the freezing point is at 0 degrees and the boiling point is at 100 degrees, but when you push the water together basically and you heat it to 100 degrees, it will not evaporate, it will stay liquid. The boiling point will be higher, and conversely, when the pressure is lower, then the boiling point will be lower. It doesn't mean that when the boiling point is so low that it basically just boils away from your skin, that your skin burns. That's not what happens. The word boiling is loaded. It's the connotation, the idea of what it means has of course been formed by human experiences, which are normally here down on Earth and on at normal pressure levels. But what actually just happens is the water will evaporate into gas. And what also happens then, this will cool down your skin. This is also why sweating works so nicely. When the air comes and blows against your skin, this means the sweat on your skin, it is evaporating, and the air that is blowing against it carries the already somewhat more saturated air away, so that now the air that's coming is not so wet, so it can easily take in more of your sweat, so your sweat can more easily make the journey from being liquid into traveling with the wind. And that's also why high humidity isn't so pleasant, because then your sweat isn't doing so much for you. One moment. Water. And let's see. So, and when the sweat changes its phase, that's what that means. When it changes its phase from being liquid to being in gaseous form, when it does that, then it cools down the place from which it came. For example, a water container, or in this case, your skin. Because it needs some kind of, that's a kind of an emergence step from just wiggling about and almost but not quite flying away to actually flying away. That takes away some of the motion energy of the material, because it's just motion. Heat is just motion. And so then the material will cool down. So when you are suddenly exposed to space, to no pressure, then the liquids, the humidity on your skin will quickly boil away, but this will then cool you down. You know, you might say, well, that freezes you. Yeah, kinda. Around your mouth and nose, that would probably be freezing, and certainly that's bad for breathways, and you have to certainly open your esophagus. Is that the term? Esophagus? I don't know. Your pathways, so because the air will violently force itself out of you, because there's no more balancing of air pressure that keeps it inside, and that can actually lead to bad injuries. You have to let it out. You cannot hold your breath. But then your lungs will also suffer this evaporation process, and so very deeply in the labyrinth of your lungs tissue, where the communication of gases takes place between the space that your lungs have and your veins, where the blood is, that will then also cool down and so forth. Might actually draw some oxygen from your blood. I don't know. Anyway, you will suffocate soon. That's a problem. But what doesn't happen is that you don't freeze solid. You're not like suddenly can't move anymore or something. That is just bullshit. Hollywood keeps lying to you, and it's stupid that they do that in every fucking film. In every film they do that. Why? Why do they do that? I mean, if their mission was to misinform the world, if that were actually their agenda, the goal to make the people dumb in this regard, then what they'd be doing is exactly what they are doing. And that, I think, means that they are kind of guilty of what they're doing there, right? Anyway, so when you have no atmosphere, then you have no temperature. It's not cold, it's not warm. There's just no temperature, period. See, we have to think about heat transfer. When you are, let's say you are in outer space, and suddenly there's a vacuum. Apart from the fact that you will have problems with the pressure because your tissue will like push outwards, not violently, but still it's going to be a problem. And also there's going to be bubbles forming. It's called embolism, I think, in your body, in your blood, and that will leave lasting damage. I mean, it's really a bad thing. I mean, make no mistake. Anyway, how about your heat? We already established that the carrying away of the water will also carry away thermal energy, because it will take that with it to a significant portion. Not just because it went away, because there would just be mass transfer, like when you take a shit in space that levitates away, so there's less warmth that you have within you, obviously. On the other hand, it's also less matter that has to be warm, so maybe basically nothing happened. I don't know, anyway. But that's not what happens. It's not like the water just carries away the heat that it already has. It draws away some of the heat that it would not otherwise have had by the means of phase change. When it reaches that emergence threshold point of that boiling point. So that's we have mass transfer, and what we just had is that is actually also mass transfer. Yeah. In this case, I mean, caused by phase change, but anyway, mass transfer. Then there is radiation. You are obviously, I mean, if you hold your hand next to your other hand, you will feel, oh, there's something warm nearby. Yeah, and that's what you do in outer space. Also, you radiate your heat away. So while there is no atmosphere around you that you touch, that would then, by means of convection, the other big one, touch your heat away into something cold, even though space isn't cold at all. See, there is no air that could do that. There's still radiation that will radiate your heat away. So now let's talk about heat, so that we can get back to the furnace. If you take a brick, let's say one of the iron ingots in the game, and you throw it, then you could say that all the molecules or atoms in the material are moving in the same direction, and that is called momentum. But let's say they would not move in the same direction. Let's say they would move all in different directions. But since they are in the material, they cannot move far. They are bound elastically by the nuclear forces into place. And so they bounce back, basically. But this conveys some force to the surrounding material and so forth. It's basically all wobbly in there on the tiniest of levels. But that is heat. So basically, let's take an iron ingot brick that is perfectly cold, that has no motion whatsoever. This is not drifting in any direction, though you can always claim that it's fast or slow. There's relativity. Should we talk about that also? It's taking a bit far just to make steel, right? But let's say we have an iron ingot that is absolutely cold. Guess what? There would be 0 Kelvin. And if we heat that up to 0 degrees Celsius, did I just say 0 Kelvin or 0 degrees Kelvin? I hope I said 0 Kelvin, because that's what it is. It's not degrees Kelvin, it is Kelvin. Celsius is kind of like a perspective of Kelvin. Not Celsius is the natural thing, even though you're so used to it. Kelvin is the natural thing, because Kelvin starts at 0, which means absolutely no thermal Brownian motion of the particles in the material. It's absolutely cold, and 273.15 degrees, 273.15 Kelvin is 0 degrees Celsius. And now the important part, minus 273.15 degrees Celsius is 0 Kelvin. So you could say Kelvin and Celsius is the same thing, except shifted. Kelvin starts at absolute thermal 0, and Celsius starts at when water freezes at sea level pressure on Earth. Man, that was hard. So let's take one of those, a brick that has 0 Kelvin, and now you touch it with your finger, hopefully in a glove. In this moment, now you have given this thing some impulse. This impulse will probably move the brick slightly. For example, if it's drifting in outer space, now it's drifting in a certain direction and faster. But what certainly is happening is that you also kind of slightly deform the material. The atoms in there will now move about, and now heat emerges, a very slight heat, chaotically wiggling about all throughout the material. Slowly this will communicate through the material. And see, that is when we have, this is where every process where work is being done, where we move something or convert one form of energy into the other, for example, wind energy into electrical energy, or electrical into light and so forth, there's always some loss. Always something will get lost in the chaos of heat. But now you have understood what heat is, and I think that's valuable. You might not be able to do practical use of that, but I think you should understand the cosmos that you live in, and heat is such a primary thing, and is also so simple. That is really all it is. Motion, but chaotic, you know? So now at 0 Kelvin we have here's 627 degrees Kelvin that we have to achieve, but let's ignore that. Celsius, ignore that. We can just look at the Kelvin, and here we see 0 Kelvin on the furnace. So we can just see the Kelvin temperature here. We have to achieve 900 K and 1 MPa. What is shown? 0 K and no pressure. So let's smelt some. I'm not sure if this can be done from here. It's a bit adventurous, I must admit. Let's risk it. Maybe this will probably hurt me, I guess. So let's do that with oxide first.
Suit
Yep,
critical.
that was not good.
Temperature critical. Suit damaged. Temperature low.
Yeah, it will recover. So I placed that in a way that is not really helpful. Anyway, now I have some oxide in there. That is a stupid thing that they have to fix though. It's this bug that just happened. But, you know, they will eventually. And now it opens again. This ignites the furnace and creates a little bit of heat in there. With the weirdest, tiniest bit of heat. You can see the temperature is already falling. That is because the surrounding environment is very cold. When I clicked on this thing with the left mouse button, and so I got this little split window. And this would have ended up in my hands, which is alright because it's very cold in here. It would not have melted, but normally it's warmer, and then it would have melted. And I didn't want that. Now in here we have actually volatiles and oxide, and this thing now begins to excrete heat. I will now add some more oxide. You see, since my hands are full, it will just fall from here to a place. And it seems like I found the right angle to do it like this. Of course, what you can do is you can just pipe in fuel gas if you have it on hand, and we could put some ice crusher where we toss in the ice, which will then be pumped into pipes, into tanks, from which we can then create a fuel mixture in an automated fashion using microchips or a fuel mixer or whatever, and a gas mixer. See here? Temperature around me minus 117. It's already increasing. So let's toss in all the things for the steel. I'm not sure if we have put in enough fuel to make the amount that we need. You can already see temperature Kelvin is going down. We need 900 Kelvin. We're already at 600. And this is a bit dangerous, because if it goes down too far, yeah, that's not necessary. It was already burning. That's an actual combustion process going on in there. I don't know how deeply that's simulated, probably very simplistic, but that's not the point. The point is, once it's combusting, the things you put in there will participate. So when this cools down too much, it can no longer process what you toss in there, and then it will just get stuck in the opening, and then even no matter how often you push that thing up there, that might not help you. And then you need to somehow heat up the furnace by different means. So always make sure that it doesn't get too cold, but that only happened one time to me in 1,000 hours. So we can say that the normal everyday handling of this thing will not lead to that. Normally doesn't. Now we have 800 Kelvin in there, which is below steel temperature, so we have to put some more in there. Let's see if that is enough, because maybe I put a bit more oxygen in there than needed. I don't remember clearly. Oh look, it's green. Ah haha. Steel. And now we let the thing rot. Let's look at this thing with the tablet. Here we can see what's going on in there. We have volatiles still and some oxygen. You can see there's more oxygen than volatiles, even though it should be more volatiles than oxygen for a normal fuel mixture. So I can put in some more volatiles right now to benefit from the potential burning that could take place with minimal overhead. And this turns then into CO2, which is useful for your plants. So it makes sense to pump that out, to filter that, so that we only get the CO2, because we don't want the pollution. The pollutant is poison, plain simply poison. And it's the dead end of gases. So pollutant can only be tossed away out in the atmosphere or kept in a tank, because its phase change diagram is very interesting. So it can be used for cooling and heating by means of phase change. Because see, when water evaporates away from your skin, then it will cool you. Or from your skin, just from a container. But if it changes phase from its gaseous form to its liquid form, the opposite happens. Heat is created, you could say. Of course, energy is not being created. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. But the motion, the jiggly motion and floating energy of the gas is turning into the solid-ish thermal energy of the water. So by these means, by changing the pressure of a material, particularly of volatiles, pollutants, which have... let's just look at that for a moment. See, I told you this game is unique. But you don't have to know all that stuff. And let's look at water first, because some people have problems with the phase change diagrams. They're really, really simple, man. They're really simple. So I will click here for Celsius, so that we don't have to think differently. Here we have, for whatever reason, when I put the mouse here, we are at 3 degrees, even though there should be 0. I wonder if that's a graphical glitch here, or if the phase change information in the simulation is actually a bit off of our actual reality. I don't know that. So I will keep moving here until this temperature here says 100, which is when water boils. And now we see we have a pressure of 76 kilopascals, or 80. Now that is wrong. In truth, it would be 100. I don't know if in Stationeers it is also 100 like it should be, because that it is how it is on Earth. Once we have 100 kilopascals, then the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. And now maybe you can imagine a horizontal line here. I wish they had an actual crosshair here. That would be helpful. A horizontal line here at that height at 100 kilopascals. Let's just pretend that the temperature would be showing 100 Celsius, okay? That is the line that you all know. 0 degrees is frozen, 100 degrees is liquid. And now you understand, right? The vertical is the pressure, the horizontal is the heat. And all of you are used to just one pressure, to roughly 100 kilopascals. But here we're already also dealing with higher pressures. And if the pressure is, for example, here about 1 megapascal, then you have to have 250 degrees Celsius so that the water will change from liquid to gaseous form, and so forth. So here we would have 6 megapascals, 6,000 kilopascals, 60 times Earth sea level pressure. Then we would need about 360 degrees Celsius. So with that in mind, let's look at pollutant, which is radical, tell you that. Yeah, I forgot something. This is, of course, the solid form, frozen. So you can say here it's basically a line almost like with water, and that is roughly at minus 100 degrees Celsius. Once it's that cold, that stuff will freeze and your pipes will die. But otherwise, when the pressure is below, let's say 1.8 megapascals, then it will not be liquid. But when it is higher than that, then it will be liquid even at 150 degrees Celsius. And that lends itself to some radical phase change shenanigans, doesn't it? Because, I mean, it can change its temperature vastly, but this will not change its phase much, almost not. You can work with the pressure and turn it from this to that state, which will then transfer or create, so to speak, heat. And that's something you can actually do in this game. But you don't have to. You do not have to do that. You have wall heaters. You have the furnace to heat. You can just set the air on fire if you so wish. You can use the sun on the moon, for example. You won't have problems with your station being too cold. You will have problems with the station getting too hot, for the moon does not cool your station. There is no atmosphere that would make it cool, but the sun will shine in through the windows, and everything that is lit indoors by the sun will heat up the room. So you have to cool. And talking about heat, now the temperature in this room is rising rapidly, minus 63 and so forth and so forth. So let's not bother with that, and let's just let the furnace rot. You see it's cooling down. And here the output pipe has the same stuff, should have the same stuff, yeah, it's exactly the same stuff, because that is now effectively an extension of the furnace's content. And if I flip this open, then I will unleash that out there into the atmosphere, but I'd be stupid to do so. I love the heat that's in there, for the heat will love me if I just let it. I mean, the room is very cold, too cold for us, and now all I have to do is heat it up. Would be nice though if it would not heat up too much, so it would be cool if we could automate that door. But before we do that, let's first get some electricity in here by means of
Temperature low. Temperature critical. Temperature low.
There's also a Stirling engine. Stirling engine, I'm not sure. Stirling engine, yeah, in here, that allows to turn temperature differentials into electricity. I have never used this thing so far, and that's shameful, basically. So now I want to produce with our electroprinter, if I can. Go away. I want to produce this station battery. Kit battery. I need more copper. Do I have copper? I do. So we're blessed. Once we have this battery, life will get so much easier, because, like I said, this thing outputs 20 kilowatts, which are not being utilized by our current setup. But the station battery can take in as much as it wants, so it will take in all those 20 kilowatts. So we will not waste all that coal. That little bit of coal that we have here will charge the battery full. And that battery will then last for days. That is how effective that dude is. That is how large this is. So yeah, we want that. Under all circumstances, we want to get that show on the road. 19. Can I turn anything off here? Temperature minus 15 degrees Celsius. Nice. I wish Rocket Works would do some work on the experience front. For example, if I open my helmet out there in the cold, I'm getting some feedback that it is cold. I showed you that, right? I mean, eventually the computer voice will tell me that my lungs are damaged, and there will be a signal here. In truth, in reality, I would suffer extreme pain in that situation. Why is that not expressed by some kind of screen shaking or bluish vignette, intransparent stuff, or by everything taking on the shade of blue slightly, everything shading slightly bluish, like when it's very hot, everything maybe slightly red, or then at some point even more purplish. Who knows? Why is that not happening? Why is not, for example, even the sound of sizzling human flesh being played when it's so very hot that this should actually be taking place? Just from moment to moment, to give you some emotional idea. That's enough to deepen the experience. Why is that not happening, man? That should be in there. 5 degrees Celsius. Guess what? Welcome to Europa. now we can turn off our filter. We have finally arrived on this moon. Hey Jupiter, we can breathe without helmet. Without helmet. It can't believe that. Well, it's just a planet. Stupid. We have too many of those. I mean, I'll be killed. No, wrong. This is unfortunate. No, wait, I will just do away with this stupid thing. And I will also do away with the stupid music. Behold. Or behold again. Yeah, let's take that. Sounds interesting. And first put up the station battery. Where is that dude? Where is it? There it is. Kit battery. There it is. The big motherfucker. Station battery. You can see on the right there's the input arrow. On the left there's the output arrow. And there's also the logic connection. It makes really sense. It really makes sense that it is separate on this battery. Not that it is necessary, but sometimes it is necessary depending on what setup you have. And then you'll be glad that it is so. So some sheets then, and some welding torch.
Temperature high.
37 degrees Celsius, by the way. And turn on. Shazam. It is already blinking because it is currently being charged very, 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 very slightly. Oh, by the wind turbine. Oh, and also by the solar panel. Can I see by how much? By 80 watts. But we can also put a cable analyzer here. Can we put that there? Can I see that there? I don't know. I will just print one. Let's see what happens. Cable analyzer. I need silicon. Do I have that? I do on the outside. Don't forget to close the helmet, and don't forget something else also, which I have now forgotten.
Temperature low. Temperature critical.
My AC is off. And not just that.
Temperature low.
Now let's make two. Because the other thing that I've forgotten is that with a closed helmet and a turned off air system, what will happen is that eventually
Temperature high.
I will no longer have air to breathe. Aha, look at that. Can we see that from here? Ah, come on. Okay, it's a bit tricky, but
Oxygen low.
what's happening? Oh, right. I have to
Oxygen critical.
open my helmet.
Power low.
Yeah, it can be.
Oxygen low.
Wait, am I still low? Right, because it's too hot. It's too hot in here. God damn it. 60 degrees. Still way too hot. Oh. But you can see here, these are my lungs, and my lungs are now damaged. They are damaged, period. Good thing I have the pill with which I can heal the lungs. I also think there's some very, very slow healing over time, and you can also build a so-called sleeper, or what's the term? Is that the right thing? Or am I confusing this? I think the sleeper is not what it is. When you A horizontal variant of the sleeper will keep players hydrated and fed while they are locked out, as long as a breathable atmosphere is provided. So if that is in a room that has a breathable atmosphere and there's the respective connector and so forth, you don't need to eat or drink, so that's a good thing. But that's not what I mean. Cryotube, yeah, cryotube. The cryotube can regenerate organ damage, in other words, it can heal you when supplied with power and an atmosphere. So if you create this thing, which we currently cannot yet do, and you connect it to power and turn it on, and also connect a pipe with a pipe cowl so that the pipe is open to the room, which has normal breathable atmosphere, and you enter that thing, you will go unconscious for a moment, but you can wake yourself up with Q that will be shown at the right top, at the key that you can press, and this will heal you. You don't need a pill anymore. But you can also create the pills yourself, because, mind you, we only have one of those. So you have just seen why I put in the door, and that sometimes you do need to think on your feet. Temperature will now keep increasing in here, because the furnace is still doing that, but at some point the spell will be broken, and then I will actually be glad regarding every little bit of heat that I can get in here. Anyway, we can now reconnect this to the airlock. Where's my cable? I probably tossed it in panic. I'm a tosser. Where's my cable? Cable. I'm sure I had cable. Let's connect the output here with that. Now this dude is being charged up by the station battery. 8%, 9%, 10%. We can turn this guy on also, because we can now be a bit more lavish with our power. Because like I said, the coal that we have right now is a lot. Let's just take one coal. This will, of course, burn very shortly only. Still burning, is in the internal chamber, now it's over. Okay, that didn't do much, but let's burn this up. Should now become stable. You can see here that 20 kilowatts are being transferred, and the required amount is descending quickly, and now it's over. 17 watts are coming from the little wind turbine over there. So that's much better. We have now some nice stable power supply. Oh, not power supply, power storage. But I mean, every little bit of coal that I mine will do so much for us. Temperature, 47 degrees again. Furnace is still screaming at the room. Be hot! And that is why some automatic cooling would be nice. Should we make some? But can we? Can we make that? I guess we should have to go. We would have to go mining first. We don't have enough resources, so we can't yet do that. Sorry. I will first have to make sure that we get some more things done here in the station. I will just keep that on hand. For example, a second locker would be nice. Do we have some iron in here? No, we do not. Somewhere else then? No. 6 grams. Oh man, we don't have any iron left. Any. That's extremely little iron, man. I mean, there's no Iron Man at all here, man. We also need to grow food at some point, but as you have seen, we need very little, very little. I mean, the food consumption and water consumption is so low on easy difficulty. It's hilarious. I mean, when I consider that I always play Stationeer difficulty, this is a vacation. Anyway, let's take a look at this dude. Minus 26. Of course, that is still way too low, and that is actually a concern that we have. I think we should maybe let the temperature rise. Problem though is, when I then close my helmet, because it will be too hot for me, this will be emptied into that rather quickly, and then I have to open my helmet so that I can breathe again, but it's too hot in here. But it needs to be hot, because this dude needs to be heated up. Maybe I can put that near the furnace to heat it just up the weirdest bit more. because the heat in this corner of the room, 36 degrees, and over here, oh, also 36, 36.6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, but you can see there's some difference, so we can use that slight difference.
Hydration critical.
Yeah, let's drink something. We can now, can't we? But now, water is a concern, isn't it? Well, see, I have done a lot of Europa plays, and I never had this extra canister. Let's work without it. Maybe that's because it's easy mode. That might be so, that they changed that nowadays. I don't know. 13 degrees. So this is the portable generator. You can stuff in a fuel canister, for example, from my welder, and then it will create electricity which goes into this, but you can connect this thing with a portable connector, which I can put down with a wrench then, and then it cannot just charge this, but it would have a cable connection, and so I can use it for producing electricity. But what it also produces is heat, and it produces pollutant, so this is not good for my station where I want to breathe. Oh, and look, we have some pollutant from welding, obviously. I could basically empty my waste canister in the station so that we get some CO2 in here for the plants. However, as long as I have this stupid cooling solution here, this emergency cooling, we will every time also lose some of that, because out there we have O2 and in here we have O2 and CO2 and so forth. So opening that door to exchange some heat will also exchange some gas, and so we will lose some percentage of the CO2. So
Temperature high.
I don't want to do that if I don't have to. Too bad we don't have any iron left. I would like to clean up some. Still full. Maybe we want to swap batteries, because now we have that luxury. Charge it, baby. This will probably at some point start blinking, because no, the energy resources are not infinite. They're just huge. How huge, you want to know? Well, they're certainly Rocco-Siffredi size. Let's take a look. We have the large battery. You can see here how much charge it holds. 0.29 megawatts. And this holds 3.6 megawatts. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3.6 megawatts. So not 0. Let's say the 0.3 to make it simple. 0.3, but 3.6. So that's easily more than 10 times that. Well, let's take a look around. What do we have here? Where can I put this thing? Here, maybe? By the way, this is a cable network. Starts here, ends here. It's over there. It's over at that point. And here starts another one that continues on here and goes through the rest of the station. So we'll just put here a cable analyzer so I can see what electricity I'm using here in my station. Currently, 75 watts are being used. For what, I wonder? Oh. Dude. This thing consumes 50 watts and it's not necessary. The airlock is still functional. You just can't, click the cancel button here. But we don't want to do that anyway. So I just saved 50 watts and prolonged the duration. But where's that electricity going? 25 watts. 10 watts? 10 watts. Well, that leaves us with 5 watts then. The 5 watts, where are those going? Here. Yeah, okay. That's what we're consuming. And I could also have used the cable analyzer cartridge for the tablet to find out. And of course you can print another tablet. And later you can even print an advanced tablet which has 2 slots in there which you can switch. Too bad there's not yet a hotkey. You have to do that with the mouse. In the inventory of that thing. Now it's starting to blink. Would be nice if you could make another upright, but no, we need to mine first. There's no way around it. Damn, this is not where I wanted to end this, but it's late already, and so
Temperature high.
I think I have to. Still minus 23 degrees. Of course, this will heat up slowly to room temperature, but very slowly. And do I have that amount of time? I think not. And if I dunk my... by the way, how do you refill your air canister? I can just take this thing and stuff it in there. You know, you see this diagonal highlight here in there. And then I take it out again. And then this pressure will have equalized with that pressure. And the temperature also. So it will then probably be at minus 19 degrees or something. Because its own temperature currently is...
Air tank critical.
It's almost at freezing temperature. Not good. Oh, this reminds me. Now this is at minus 22 degrees. But as you can see, it heats up rather quickly. So that is how I can get out again with enough air. Now that was also thinking on my feet, or maybe a bit rash, because maybe I have to get out before this thing has heated up, and then I will be in trouble, baby. Yep. And I don't yet have the resources to do the things that I like to do. For example, I could create an atmospherics device, a filtration unit, where I could just suck air from the room and pump it into a canister holder, and the air in the room is obviously warm enough, you know? Too warm enough even.
Temperature high.
Yeah, but it looks like it's the best for me to just stop the video here. And I'd like to continue because I'm at this point here, so this might become a series again. But those who have been following my channel or have been seeing the videos that I've uploaded would say, dude, why are you doing the same thing again and again, huh? It's getting boring. And I have no answer to that. Sorry. So this is at minus 19 degrees now, and this is actually frozen water. You can see this here. And here you can see that the water is now in the process of raining down, basically becoming liquid. In the same way, when this thing would be filled only with gaseous H2O, with hot H2O, and if it would be condensing, you would get the same symbol, except without the star. So this is going from frozen to liquid form, and without the star, it's going from gaseous to liquid form. And this is just frozen form. And without the star here, it is liquid form. This here, with this little ocean in there. Yeah, okay, morning is dawning, but that is true twofold, because it's 1:30 midnight, and I want to stop this now. I hope I see you again, even though it was very talky and long and so forth. I just love this game to bits, and I wish to infect as many people as possible with this, with the will to try to play this game, and to eventually then of course get addicted, because that's what will happen to you. Oh look, what's happening. This thing was blinking. Now it's not blinking. What happened? Well, we're consuming so little electricity at this point, only 20 watts, that the wind turbine out there with its current 45 watts output was eventually able to catch up, charging the battery. That's what's happening. The sun will be will come out from behind Jupiter very soon. And let's see, does this melt? It doesn't. Very good. That would otherwise have been disastrous. And then I want to go mining. But that's all for today. F5 is for quick saving. And escape, save as, and so forth is also available. Good night.